Yo, what's going on? It is January of 2023, and we are not even halfway through the month. And you know what happened already? I had an emergency that came up that's over $1,000, and it's just crazy. So, this is actually the first of what seems like once every 3 months, some randomized expense that comes up just out of nowhere. We're going to talk about it. Let's dive in. Let's get it. Let's talk about what happened. How did I get this 1,100 and some change dollar random expense that I had no clue about? It's wild. Okay, when I purchased our home in 2017, our home is very unique because it sits on two separate lots, Lot A and Lot B. Okay, the house itself sits on Lot A, the backyard is Lot B. And so when the deed had to be written up, the deed of trust and all of this stuff, it has to include that language to include Lot A, which the actual house sits on, and Lot B, which is just the backyard. The property itself doesn't sit on it. The only thing in Lot B is sometimes my dog and my daughter's trampoline in the driveway and the basketball court. But that's it. Lot A, house on it. Lot B, backyard. Okay, so everything's been cool. I make my mortgage payment. Once I make my mortgage payment, the escrow money goes for the insurance and for the taxes, and everything is on the up and up. Well, in early 2020, I decided, you know what? Let's capitalize on this refinance so we can get this super low 2.2% interest rate and save like $1,000 per month on our mortgage bill. So we did the refinance. Okay, so far the story sounds normal. We did the refinance. Now I've been making all my payments. Had never had any issues. Now this past weekend, what did DFD decide to do? I just had to look to see what's out there in my local community, in my area, to see what properties are on the list for sale for delinquent taxes. Because you never know, you may come up find a deal. So as I'm going through this long spreadsheet of just properties and everything that's going to be tax auctioned on, I'm looking through property to see, it might be something there that's worth snatching up. Probably not, but you never know what you may find. As I'm going down, I see a property and I see the name. It's an Excel spreadsheet. So I see the last name. That's my last name. And I was like, man, this dude who got the same last name as me, this dude wilding out. And so I was like, let me see what this property is. As I scroll over, I see his first name. I was like, oh, Marcus? I was like, oh, man, this Marcus dude tripping. Hopefully his property ain't too affordable because I may snatch it up. Then when I scroll over further, what do I find? It was me. It was me, and it was my property. Now, let me explain what happened and how this happened, okay? During the refinance, when they're doing the new paperwork, the new trust, and all of that stuff, they're supposed to look at the original deed and use that language in the original deed and carry it over to the refinance paperwork. Well, they kind of did, but they kind of didn't do that, and things got completely out of whack. So, I've been making my mortgage payments since the refinance. The payments on both Lot A, where the house sits, and Lot B, which is the backyard, are good. But they had an error, two words that were left out on one single sheet of paper and amongst a plethora of paperwork that did not include the escrow payments that would be associated with Lot B, the backyard. So every time I made my mortgage payment, what happened? Every time I made my mortgage payment, my taxes and insurance were paid for Lot A, but because they made that omission, it wasn't paid for Lot B. So, yeah, my backyard was about to get auctioned off. Ain't that crazy? Luckily, I happened to be going through and I found it. Now, I'll tell you, when you do your refinance paperwork or even paperwork for buying a house, and I'm pretty meticulous, I go through everything, and even I didn't catch this one error. And I'm just be honest, it's probably not my job. That was something that is the title company's fault. Now, when we talk about why the bill was $1,000, that backyard, that parcel B, it's not a very expensive piece. So the taxes on it is only like $100 a year or something like that. But because it was back taxes and all of this stuff, I just paid the $1,100 to get those taxes caught up, get those things up to speed. Then I had to get a copy of the deed, the original deed, a copy of the refinance deed that was jacked up, send all of that to the title company so that they can get everything correct. Typically, on average, the rent, like I said, I mean, the rent, typically on average, the taxes is like $40 for the first half of the year and $40 for the second half of the year for that parcel B, which is my backyard. So it's not a very expensive thing. My mortgage may increase by, whatever, $10, $15, nothing major. But this just goes to show that everyone does not utilize due diligence to do their job. And me, I went through and read all the documents and I didn't even catch it. And I'm gonna be honest, keep it a buck. When y'all buy a house, do y'all actually read all the paperwork? I actually read all of the paperwork, but that thing was something that I didn't catch, and it was something that shouldn't have been an issue. Now let's just put this into context. What if somebody didn't have the wherewithal to actually look and check out that list? What if somebody didn't have the $1,100 to pay the taxes on it to get it off of the sale list? Here's the other thing. You think they would have sent me a notice to my address? They actually had the wrong address on file. So they sent the tax bill notice not to my address, but to a completely different address, which made no sense whatsoever. Now, I got it rectified. Everything is squared away. I actually submitted paperwork on my own to have those two parcels merged as one parcel, so that'll just make things easier going forward. But hey, again, once every 3 months, I got to come on here and talk about the importance of an emergency fund and why you probably need to have more than $1,000. If you can have just 1 month of your essential expenses or $1,000 per person, that'll be great. But you should always put something towards your emergency fund. Even if your emergency fund is just $1,000, if you can afford to put $25 in that emergency fund every month to just keep stacking it up a little bit, that's probably a good thing to do. I just wanted to chime in, let y'all know what was going on, and it's always something. Thank God I got it figured out. I had the funds to rectify it, but hey, emergency fund is law. Law is emergency fund. If you like this video, check out the video on the screen. There's more content related to financial freedom and financial literacy.